Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Gino from Trauma and Telecounseling, and I'm here with another conflict resolution, anger management reaction video. For this video here, I just want to remind everybody that I'm doing these for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm not providing any clinical assessments of any of the people here. I don't know them. I've never met them. These are just videos that I have in a little library that I use for my anger management group. So this video here is a really interesting one, and it's a lot different than the last one I did in the sense that, the last one featured two people who sort of escalated together. There was a small conflict that got worse and worse, and as things got more heated, it escalated to violence. But here, the core concept that I want you guys to see is that sometimes in conflict, the participants can be at different levels of anger, different levels of arousal. And here you're going to see somebody who is at a 10 or very near to it, and somebody else who's a lot lower but escalates over the course of it. And you'll see that as the conflict progresses, they make pretty different choices that reflect that anger level. Now, one thing I want you guys to think about is that it can be really useful to think about anger as a perceptual disturbance. It's a disturbance that makes aggression seem like a great solution to whatever the problem is. And we're going to see that sort of play out as we go here. So without further ado, let's get the video started. And you see that it kind of picks up right away.
You got a problem?
Yeah, I got a fucking problem.
Stop it!
Okay, so we get right to it, all right? So as we see here, we have what looks like a helmet cam or a GoPro. Yep, it says GoPro right on the title. On a motorcycle helmet, we have a motorcyclist riding a sport bike. He looks like he has his girlfriend on the back, or his girlfriend. I don't know what the relationship is. And we have a driver who is confronting them. And as you saw, the motorcyclist kind of turned back and said, "You have a problem," right? So he is annoyed, clearly, as you can tell by the tone of voice, but kind of investigating what's going on here. And the driver comes right out of the gate, shoving this individual. Now, we're going to find out what is going on as the video progresses, but you can see here a pretty significant change. So now the physical contact is going to absolutely escalate the anger level of the rider. So let's see what happens.
You fucking touch her!
All right, then he shoves the girlfriend, okay, or lady friend, I don't know. But you can see here that for those of you who don't ride motorcycles, when you're riding two up like this with a passenger, especially on a sport bike, it's really hard to get off the bike when the person's behind you. So in the situation, we saw the girlfriend jump off first and sort of engage with the attacker, and then he gives her a shove too. So now the rider is going to park the bike and try to get off to engage with this attacker.
Hey! You better fucking step back right now!
All right. Now, the attacker seems to have intended to knock the bike over. Seemed to give it a little shove. And another thing is that sport bikes are kind of hard to jump off of. They're kind of high up in your crotch, and it's really awkward. So you saw the rider getting kind of struggling to put the bike down for a second, which might have added to his kind of level of arousal here.
Call the fucking cops. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get mad. You better stop! Stop! Are you done? Are you done?
All right. So I think the rider's doing a really great job of managing the aggression here, right? I mean, yes, it escalated to the point now where he's pinning the attacker, the instigator, on the ground. And we're going to take a moment to kind of observe this guy, because he just there's something about his presentation that makes me wonder about whether or not he's intoxicated. Like, he's very red in the face, and his eyes are pretty bulgy here. And just the kind of absence of language and the sort of reattacking. And I have some theories about what was going on. But again, we see here a person who has decided to engage in a combat with somebody who just totally handled him, right? So the rider did not instigate the contact, but he is absolutely getting the upper hand here.
Stop! Stop! I did nothing to you!
Alright,
You better stop. Are you gonna behave? Are you gonna get up? Get up and relax, okay?
Now pay attention here. The rider starts to sort of do this really interesting like question and answer thing. He asks a question and gets a response. And he's treating him very much like a child. I mean, it's really interesting, but I think really effective here, because what he's going to do in a couple of exchanges is sort of expose how crazy this is, what just happened, right? So let's listen, and then we might come back and take another look at it.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna fucking.
Call the cops right now.
So you ain't going anywhere. You got a knee
Help?
right in the middle of your chest.
Anyone? Dude, I did nothing to you.
Yeah, you just broke the law.
I went in between you on a road,
Yep.
and you're gonna punch me and assault me for that.
Yep.
And you think that's the right thing to do? How old are you? Shouldn't you know by now? It's not what you.
So you can see the realization set in on the guy on his back, right? So yeah, the biker may have done, broken a traffic law, sure, okay? But again, this is the thing about anger that kind of warps our judgment. So then how does that entitle this guy to become like judge, jury, and executioner and punish this rider for breaking the law, right? This is the thing about anger, is that when we get into the sort of enraged mindset, we start to think that we can't let the other person get away with this, and that's just not true. And even if it was true, you wouldn't punish the person by breaking laws yourself, right? It just doesn't make any sense. And like, again, as we think it through even more, like what is the intended outcome here? Does this man think that he's going to go attack this rider, and the rider is going to be like, you know what, I have been misbehaving? Is the rider going to say, oh, thank you so much for showing me the error of my ways, right? There's just no outcome here that this person is going to want, and has really just kind of gotten his ass kicked because of it. So it's
You do?
not good. We have a bystander coming in.
Can you help me out, bro? This dude just assaulted me for no reason. You saw it?
You didn't see shit.
You didn't see shit, he says.
You pushed my fucking girlfriend?
She assaulted
She weighs 100 pounds.
She assaulted me.
No, she did not.
Yeah, she assaulted
Guess what? I have you all on camera, so we're going to see.
me. Okay.
All right, so maybe it's setting in and maybe he's not, but there's a really interesting point here.
You're the
where
one
you
who
can
needs to
see it.
fucking calm down. I didn't do shit to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, really.
The Spokane Sheriff's deputies have.
All right. So we've gone to another video here. Just give me a second here. Let me pull the other one back up. So here's my theory about what happened. I don't have any special insight here, but this is something I've heard a lot in my work. As the driver is observing a behavior that he doesn't like, right? Maybe this rider lane split and kind of got up ahead of traffic, and that probably triggered his ideas about fairness, right? It's not fair. Everybody has to, follow the law, whatever. So what's happening is probably a small sort of, I'm going to say the word chase, but a small period of the driver following the rider ensued, and the driver in his head is just kind of shoveling coal into the furnace with his self-talk. I can't believe this person did that. Do they think they're going to get away with it? It's some language like this. And he's sort of stoking that fire, right? So as he's driving, he's getting himself good and worked up. Now, the rider may not even be aware until moments before the interaction that the driver has any problem with him. So his anger level is going to be naturally lower. He's probably having a nice ride with his friend on the back of his bike, his girlfriend, whatever, and only becomes aware of the conflict when the driver gets out of the car. And you can see it in the response, right? He's like, do you have a problem? Like, what's going on here, basically?
You got a problem?
Yeah, I got a fucking problem.
Boom. All right, now, from a fighting point of view, bad idea to use your bare hand to punch a person with a helmet on his head, right? I mean, there are lots of ways that a helmet's bad in a fight. Anybody who's played football or lacrosse or a sport where you've had a face mask knows that if somebody grabs that mask, it's bad news for you. But hitting the helmet is only going to hurt you, right? So again, anger warps the perception and makes aggression seem like a good idea even when it's not. All right, so let's move on.
Stop it!
All right, now he perceives the girlfriend as attacking him. He shoves the girlfriend. We know this because later he says that she attacked me.
Fucking touch her!
Ryder parks the bike. And now
Hey!
we
You
have
better
a
fucking
tussle.
step back right now!
So he's saying, back off, man. I don't want to have this conflict with you. Back off. This is the product of the low anger level. I mean, he's escalating for sure and for good reason, but here I think that he's kind of getting to the point where he's going to need to defend himself. For this rider, this conflict is not avoidable, right? This is something that is escalating in spite of his efforts to de-escalate it.
Now I swear.
Call the fucking cops.
Call the cops. All right? But it's not good enough for the driver, right? So now, even though they're not engaged, the rider has backed up, the girlfriend is in between them, and she is very small. He's not happy. He is kind of in the point of no return. At this point, he is seeking the physical confrontation.
You're gonna get mad. You're gonna get mad. You better
Right.
stop.
All right. And then we have pushing with the head down to try to engage this, which is just terrible. I mean, this man's in flip-flops and doesn't look like he knows really how to fight, and he engages in a way that's just basically guaranteed to get you taken down, right? So here we have the person getting taken down into what looks like, maybe it's hard to see the rider's body because of the helmet cam, but it looks like he's mounted, and the rider's going to go ahead and pin his wrist to the ground, and we end up with a person who's more or less immobilized.
Stop. Are you done? Are you done? Stop.
All right, the eyes are bulging. We really see the like gritted teeth, and this is a person who's not in a rational mindset at this point. But again, this rider does something really interesting in the sense that he starts to interview him and ask him questions, and you can see if you can see the moment when his senses return to him. But then he stays dug in because of maybe a pride thing. But watch the moment of realization. It's really interesting because there's a noticeable shift.
Stop. I did nothing to you. You better stop. Are you gonna behave? Are you gonna get up? Get up and relax, okay?
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna fucking.
Nope.
Call
No,
the
you are
cops
not.
right now. Help? Anyone? Dude, I did nothing to you.
Yeah, you just broke the law.
You broke the law.
I went in between you on a road,
Yep.
and you're gonna.
So the rider said something that was a little awkward. I went in between you on a road, and I think that reveals that he's escalating too. Now, one of the things that happens when we escalate is that we get a little bit less fluent in our language. So he seemed to have like a word finding problem. So that might reveal his level of escalation, but he's still managing the aggression really well. So I'm really proud of this rider.
Punch me and assault me for that.
Yep.
And you think that's the right thing to do?
Boom. He realizes right there. Right there, he realizes he messed up.
How old are you? Shouldn't you know by now it's not what you do?
No response.
Can you help me out, bro? This dude just assaulted me for no reason. You saw it?
No, I saw it all. I saw it all. You didn't see shit. Actually, I did. I was standing right there.
All right. So I just want to say, I mean, this video has really a lot of great concepts with respect to anger management. On one hand, you see somebody who's completely out of control. This driver is, he has made up his mind before he even engaged that he was going to have a fight with this rider. And again, who knows what stories he was telling himself? Or, as I said, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would be really wondering what this guy smelled like. I wouldn't be surprised if he smells like alcohol. And in the same way that anger can distort your perception, alcohol distorts your perception, right? I mean, I don't think many people are strangers to kind of making some bad decisions when under the influence, right? So here we have a person whose thoughts are being skewed by anger for sure, and alcohol possibly, or maybe another drug, and he decides to engage. The rider, for his part, only does enough violence to neutralize the threat, right? So this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a sort of functional or I can't think of the word right now. This is a functional kind of aggression to just make himself safe, and he's not, hitting this guy while he's captured on the ground. He's holding him down and asking for help, asking other drivers for help, and this is exactly what we're looking for. So this rider managed the anger really well, even though, seeing his girlfriend get hit would make most people escalate to the point of aggression. So good for him. One of the things that's important to think about as we manage anger is that we do have to do a little bit of assessing the other person in the conflict, right? There are times when we're engaged in conflict with a person who may not be prepared for a variety of reasons to resolve the conflict. And it's important not to try if you come to that conclusion. You may realize that the person's just not interested in resolving the conflict because of who they are, or they're so, revved up with anger that they're not in the headspace, or maybe they're intoxicated, right? And they're just not going to get anywhere, in which case you're better off kind of avoiding it if possible. Here, I don't think it was possible to avoid it. I think that this driver did everything possible to make sure that the aggression was going to happen. And luckily for him, the rider just seems like a really good guy, right? And seems to really have managed as well. And I just think that for me, the best part is just watching that mental shift happen in this guy who's on his back as the rider's asking him to, and like that question of how old are you? Like what would make you think this was a good idea? Great video. And if you like this video, please, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel here. I'm going to link all of my social medias in the description. And if you are in New Jersey and you need some counseling, please check me out. Tramontelli Counseling is my business name. And like I said, I'm going to link my stuff in the description in the bottom. So thank you for checking out my video, and talk to you guys soon.